Good morning, folks. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I want to thank everybody that's viewing my channel, and that I'm glad that everybody's enjoying it. Um, I wanted to get in here and tell you things that really make the narcissist upset, and that's the fact that everything that they say to you, like you can't get a job, or you're too stupid to get a job, or you'll never be able to make friends because you're not a very nice person. That's the things that the narcissist tells you, folks. But you prove to yourself that you can do it and that you're strong enough to do it, because the narcissist all made me feel like that would never amount to anything, that uh, I would never be able to do for myself without them. And it's not true, folks. They tell you that because it's kind of like trauma bonding. You know, the narcissist convinces you of that because they know that they're going to lose control if you go ahead and try for yourself to see how good you can do it. And what it is, folks, this is coming out on the other side of narcissism and proving to yourself that you can do it. Hi, folks. I'm glad y'all are on here viewing the channel. But I'm telling you all my stories my way. You know, other people has their ways of telling the story, but this is mine. Um, yeah, I come to E-Town from Lebanon, Kentucky, leaving a narcissist back about 15 years ago. I went to a domestic violence shelter and stayed there for a little while. And the advocates knew a lot about E-Town because they'd been living here all their lives. And I remember I didn't have a car, folks, so I had to kind of depend on the advocates to help me out a little bit. I didn't have a car, I didn't have clothes, I didn't have anything to my name, folks, except for what was important, which was my identification and all that stuff. And so the advocates had to help me in every way. But because they knew a lot about E-Town and stuff like that, they told me about different places that I could apply for a job. And yes, I did have doubts in my mind that I would be able to get a job because of all the stuff that I'd been told by the narcissist. But I put an application in at several places and got this job at a place called Wendy's where they sell hamburgers and stuff. And I worked for them for about almost 2 years, folks. And I worked at another place called Tender Touch. So right there, folks, that proved that what the narcissist said wasn't true. That's just what they do to beat you down, to try to make you stay under control by the narcissist. And I worked and I saved up enough money and I got myself a car. And I only had to pay $500 for the car, folks, because, you know, it was a kind of like an older car, but it was in good shape and everything, you know. It was a little, I forget what the name of the car was, folks, but it was a little small car. It was easy on gas. I could put $10 in it and it would last me, you know, for a little while to drive back and forth to work. But I thought that was great, folks, because it saved me money. And I got me a little low income place and stayed in an apartment by myself and took care of myself for 2 years until I met my husband. And I had to take little baby steps getting away from the narcissist. One of my narcissists, the police come and got him up in Louisville, and I never knew what he did or anything. You know, the police didn't stay around long enough to explain to me what they had a warrant on him for. I was with him for, I think, about probably 3 or 4 years or so, and they had a warrant on him for something. I don't know what it was, but I think he wound up going to the penitentiary because after they took him away, I never seen him again or never heard from him. And I'm glad I didn't, folks, because he was a very dangerous narcissist. He would, he's choked me and punched me in the stomach and, you know, he would make me do things that I didn't want to do. I won't go into no details about it, folks, because it's something personal. But he was wanted by the cops, folks. And I'll never forget the day I was in the kitchen. It was right around Thanksgiving back years ago. And I was preparing a Thanksgiving dinner, and the cops knocked on the door and they asked me if there was a guy there by his name. I won't mention no names either because that's private. And I didn't know that he went by a certain name, so I said no, being innocent about it. But anyway, they said another name, and when they said that other name, I knew that that was the right one. So I said, yes, he's here. So they came on in the apartment, and there was about 5 or 6 of them. They handcuffed him and took him off. And how I met him, folks, is he was from Harlan, Kentucky. And I met him when he was a bartender. And they just took him, handcuffed him and took off with him, and he was gone. So I knew he was going to be gone for a while, so I packed up and I left him high and dry, I don't know if he ever got out of jail or whatever happened to him or whatever, but anyway, didn't text him, didn't call him or anything, because I don't even know what jail they took him to, folks. But anyway, I wanted to tell you all, getting on the other side of narcissism is kind of difficult a little bit, but you have to take baby steps with it. And I believe that God helps you get through all this stuff too, folks. Because the way I had to do it, put myself kind of like in a spot, because I didn't have no money. I was poor as dirt, folks. I had to get myself back up on my feet every time I got into one like that. And then I met one, and I lived with one in Lebanon, Kentucky, who was a very dangerous narcissist. And folks, I don't even know how I got messed up in those situations, but I just know that I came out on top, and that's what narcissists don't want you to do, folks. They don't want to see you thrive or get a job and know that everything that they told you was not true. That messes up the narcissist for a while, and kind of gives them narcissistic injury. So, if you get away from a narcissist, folks, you got to make sure that you stick to your guns and don't go back, because if you go back, it gets worse. You know, they get upset because you go prove to yourself that you can do without them and everything, and then you get lonely and you decide to go back because of the things that the narcissist has told you over and over. But this is how it gets really dangerous, folks. The narcissist is living in a facade and they want you living in it with them too. So they don't want you out there trying to get ahead of them. And so, yeah, if you go back, then that's when they really start doing their control thing, and they get even worse with watching you so you don't get away. And then once you get in that situation, folks, you feel trapped. But when I left mine, I always left and never called them or texted them or anything like that, and never stayed in touch with them. And I'm sure there was a few of them that was steaming, folks, whenever I did leave, and never came back or called or texted or anything like that. And yes, probably some of them probably tried to stalk me and things like that, you know, to see what I was doing. Especially that one in Lebanon, Kentucky. He would always follow me wherever I went to and try to see what I was doing. But I always sidetracked him and tried to make him stay away. And also, you know, the advocates up here at the shelter, they knew about these narcissists and stuff, so they had the police watching them. You know, if you got people backing you like that, folks, and you know that they're protecting you too, it makes you feel better. And if you have something that bothers you, you go to the advocates and talk to them about it, and they'll make you feel, soothe you and make you feel better. But yes, people will out here that know that you're trying to get out of a dangerous situation, folks, they will stick by you and help you, because most people don't like narcissists, folks. As you can see, I've been, that cough is trying to take my voice away and stuff, folks. But I've been taking that medicine that the doctor prescribed me, and it's helping me out some, because I kept feeling like something was in my ear and stuff. But I wanted to get on here and tell you a little bits and pieces, folks, about what I went through and stuff. Like I said, when I got away from narcissists, I wanted to stay away and make my life better. I didn't want to look back. Narcissists kind of have a hatred for you, folks. You know, they don't want to see you get above them or anything like that, because they trying to find a good word for it. They want you stuck underneath their thumb so they can dictate everything that goes on in your life. And they don't want you to have no power whatsoever, folks. And none, believe it or not, folks, none of them care what it's doing to you, or how unhealthy it's making you, or whatever. They just know what they want, and that's what they're going to try to do to get it. But I decided that I was going to let them go ahead and get narcissistic injury, and I got away from them, folks. And I never looked back. I stayed away from all of them. Never gave them the chance to talk me into it again. I swore to myself when I first came to E-Town that I would never date or get married or live with anybody again, you know, because I was so scared that I would get tied up into that again. Because I was kind of like a narcissist magnet, you know, the narcissist targeted me quite a bit. But anyway, folks, I want to get on here and say hello to you, and I hope you're having a nice day and a blessed day too. And I know you got this, folks. Each time that I say this, I'm hoping that it helps somebody else get out of it. And we'll get on here later on at this afternoon, folks, and talk some more on it. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing. If you like this video, please subscribe. Thank you. Bye.